The days of spotting a typo in an email from a fake prince are over. By 2026, the initial point of compromise for major networks is entirely psychological. This diagram shows how a brief 3-second audio waveform expands to generate a complete synthetic vocal profile. Attackers scrape a tiny snippet of someone's voice from a social media post and use machine learning to map their exact pitch and cadence. They then call the victim's family members or colleagues using that cloned voice. By mimicking panic or urgency, they weaponize human empathy to extract passwords or authorize wire transfers before the target even realizes they are under attack. This tactic relies on deepfakes. Deepfakes use artificial neural networks to create highly realistic but entirely fabricated audio and video of real people. The technology now generates high-resolution video that accurately mimics human microexpressions. These visual replicas are sophisticated enough to fool facial recognition software and basic biometric security scanners. We can no longer rely on our own eyes and ears to verify reality. The human mind is now the most vulnerable access point in any secure network. Once that human perimeter fails, the attack moves to the network layer. This animation illustrates an abstract digital entity as it shreds through a simulated data barrier, representing the exact moment malware enters a system. The software driving this intrusion is known as agentic AI. Agentic AI refers to artificial intelligence systems designed to pursue complex goals autonomously, without waiting for a human hacker to send command and control instructions. Once inside, it analyzes the victim's infrastructure and makes its own real-time decisions on how to navigate, exploit vulnerabilities, and extract data. To survive, the AI relies on polymorphism. Polymorphism is a technique where malware constantly recompiles and alters its underlying code structure while keeping its original destructive function intact. This diagram shows the code scrambling and rewriting its own structure as it approaches a security filter. Because the code never looks the same way twice, traditional antivirus software, which relies on matching known threat signatures, fails to recognize it. The mutated code slips right through the filter. Unseen by the security perimeter, the autonomous agent executes silent lateral movement. It quietly hops from that initial entry point across the enterprise network, infecting one server node after another. Relying on static security tools to stop a self-evolving program guarantees failure. Fighting back requires shifting the burden of defense away from humans. Analysts sitting in a Security Operations Center, or SOC, a centralized unit that manages security issues on an organizational level, are simply too slow to intercept an autonomous attack. Relying on manual monitoring also generates thousands of false alarms, causing fatal alert fatigue. Instead, defenders use machine learning to establish user and entity behavior analytics, or UEBA. UEBA is a security process that establishes a baseline of normal behavior for network users and devices to quickly flag dangerous anomalies. Defensive AI constantly analyzes memory dumps to track hidden process threats. It spots micro-anomalies that a human would miss and immediately isolates the compromised host from the rest of the network in milliseconds. In a machine war, human reaction time is a liability. You must fight autonomous offense with autonomous defense. Translating this enterprise warfare into a practical survival guide starts with acknowledging that old habits are now dangerous. SMS-based multi-factor authentication, or MFA, which requires you to enter a text message code to log in, is obsolete and easily intercepted. Securing personal and professional accounts against remote takeover requires physical hardware keys. These are small, encrypted USB devices you plug into your machine. For the psychological frontline, families and colleagues must establish physical safe words. Asking a caller for a prearranged offline code word instantly exposes and defeats a voice cloning attempt. At the organizational level, survival relies on zero-trust architecture. Zero trust is a security model that assumes no user or device is trusted by default, regardless of whether they are already inside the network perimeter. This diagram illustrates how zero trust strictly isolates the subject and their agent from the data resource. Instead of a direct connection, it places a policy administrator and a gateway between them, forcing continuous verification for every single access request. The era of implicit trust is dead. Stripping away our assumptions and strictly verifying every digital interaction at both the hardware and network level is the only way to operate securely.